It was more than a TV show. To a generation of children, Sunnytown Friends was safety. It was laughter on rainy days, comfort during divorce, joy in the chaos of a world they didn't yet understand. Its messages were simple: be kind, be brave, be yourself. But behind the smiles was silence. And behind the puppets, a man whose secrets would destroy lives. This is the true story of a show that gave hope to millions, while hiding a nightmare in plain sight. A story of innocence manipulated, of trust shattered, of a system too slow to protect the most vulnerable. This is the dark truth behind a famous children's TV show. The rise of a hero. It began in 1992. A low-budget local program with puppets made from recycled socks and cardboard. The brainchild of a quiet man named Elliot Rayner. To outsiders, Elliot was brilliant. He didn't just entertain children, he understood them. He spoke to them in gentle tones. He got down on their level. He didn't command respect. He earned it. He once said, "Children don't care if the world is on fire, as long as someone tells them a good story." The show grew fast. By 1995, it was syndicated in over 40 states. Viewership doubled each year. Elliot became a quiet celebrity in education circles. Children would write letters to their favorite characters. Teachers used the show in classrooms. Even hospitals requested special episodes to comfort sick kids. But as the lights got brighter, Elliot moved further into the shadows. He rarely attended interviews. He refused to appear at fan events. Instead, he spent his time backstage with the children. And nobody questioned it. The Green Room. Behind the main set, tucked behind the costume racks and prop shelves, was a small room. The Green Room. A place where Elliot said the children could prepare emotionally. Where he did his puppet therapy. Inside were walls lined with soundproof foam, a puppet stage, a camcorder, and a locked cabinet. Only Elliot had the key. To most of the production team, it was just another studio nook. But to the child actors, it was something else. Some said they hated the room. That it smelled like glue and mildew. That Elliot would ask them to rehearse scenes alone, even in the dark. One girl described a game he called Feel What You Say. It involved hugging the puppet, whispering secrets, practicing emotional truth. It was all under the guise of performance. But the unease grew. One boy, Daniel, started wetting the bed again. Another, Maya, began refusing to go on set. She told her mother she didn't want to be touched by the bird puppet anymore. Their parents assumed it was stress. Fame was pressure. Childhood was complicated. They had no idea what was really happening. The first cracks in 2001, the first real crack appeared. A now 17-year-old former cast member walked into a police station, hands shaking, carrying a worn VHS tape. He had held onto it for years, hidden it under his bed. It was labeled rehearsal number 42. The footage, though grainy, showed more than just rehearsal. It showed Elliot coaching the boy through a deeply uncomfortable scene. There was no script, no cameras rolling. Just Elliot, the boy, and silence. That tape became the starting point for a full investigation. When police searched Elliot's home, they found hundreds of tapes, journals, drawings, names. What had once been dismissed as eccentric artistry, notes, sketches, character backstories, was recontextualized into something horrifying. A meticulous, organized record of emotional and physical manipulation. The authorities were stunned. But the studio executives? Terrified. The brand was worth millions. There were licensing deals, school contracts, international translations. And so they stalled. They loyed up. They didn't issue a statement for 17 days. The trial. The trial of Elliot Rayner began in September 2002. It was one of the most painful public reckonings in children's television history. Dozens of witnesses. Hours of footage. Victims who had grown into young adults, forced to relive what they had once buried. Some were teachers now. Others parents. Some had scars hidden just beneath the surface: addiction, PTSD, estrangement. They spoke of being told they were special. That no one else understood them like Elliot. That the puppets only listened to them. One victim cried while describing how Elliot made him promise not to tell. Because if he did, the puppets would die. The courtroom was silent. Elliot showed no emotion. When the verdict was read, guilty on all 14 counts, he didn't blink. He was sentenced to 85 years in prison. He never gave a public apology. Never admitted guilt. But the damage was done. The aftermath. Sunny Town Friends was pulled from syndication within days. Toys were recalled. DVD sales plummeted. The studio filed for bankruptcy within 6 months. Parents cried. Children asked questions no adult was ready to answer. What happened to the bird puppet? Why can't I watch the show anymore? How do you explain to a 6-year-old that the man who made them laugh was also a monster? For the survivors, healing was not linear. Some changed their names. Some moved far away. Some embraced therapy. Others never spoke publicly again. And yet, many rebuilt. One survivor now teaches drama, helping kids find their voice. Another started a non-profit offering free counseling to young performers. They turned pain into purpose. They took back the stage. Ending. Elliot Rayner died in prison in 2014. Alone. Forgotten by the industry he once ruled. But Sunny Town Friends lives on, not in reruns or collectibles, but in memories. Some beautiful. Some broken. And the children he hurt? They are no longer silent. This story is not just about a show. It is about the need for accountability. The fragility of trust. And the resilience of the human spirit. If you or someone you know is a survivor of abuse, please seek help. Your voice matters. You are not alone. Inspired by real events. Some names and details have been changed. If you found this exploration insightful, subscribe to Untold Truth for more deep dives into the hidden stories shaping our world. Share your thoughts on the dark truth behind a famous children's TV show in the comments below.